Good morning, children. Let me go for the next topic, that is batteries. Children, the conversion of chemical energy of the spontaneous redox reaction into electrical energy is a main function of cells or batteries. Remember, a cell designates a single unit, whereas a battery is an arrangement or combination of two or more cells connected in a series. With that note, let me go for the types of batteries. There are two types of batteries. Number one, we have what do you call that? Primary batteries. The primary batteries are also called primary cells. Second one, we have what do you call that? Secondary batteries. Or cells. Children, let me take up the first one, primary batteries, and then I'll take up the secondary batteries. Children, primary batteries are those which are designed to use only once. Once they used, later there has to be discarded. In other words, you can say that the primary batteries of the cells cannot be recharged with the electricity and used again and again. In general, the electrochemical reaction occurring in the primary cell is not reversible. As it is not reversible, it cannot be rechargeable. Remember, these kind of primary batteries of the cells can be used once and cannot be used again and again by recharging the cell or the battery. Hope you understand that. Children, if we go for the secondary batteries or the cells, secondary batteries are those which can be used again and again by recharging the battery. Remember, the battery can be recharged by passing electric current from an external source. That means the electrochemical reaction or the redox reaction which occurs in the case of secondary battery can be reversed during recharging by passing electric current from an external source. Remember, these kind of secondary batteries or the cells are also called storage cells. Now what do? I'll go for the first one. What is that? Primary battery, and I'll take some examples and then I'll come back to secondary batteries. Children, let me take up the first kind of batteries, that is primary batteries. As I said earlier, primary batteries are those batteries which cannot be reused again and again by reverting the electrochemical reaction or the spontaneous redox reaction by passing electric current from an external source. Children, the best example you can quote here is a dry cell. It is also called Leclanché cell because it was discovered by a scientist called Leclanché. In order to remember his name, we call dry cell as Leclanché cell. Children, dry cell is used in varieties of purpose, like you use it in the torch, use it in the wall clock, radio, transistors, remote control, whatnot, is it not? Now, let us see. Dry cell consists of zinc container which is cylindrical in shape, which acts as an anode. At the center of this zinc cylinder there is a carbon rod, otherwise a graphite rod, which acts as a cathode. Children, the zinc container, that is anode, is in contact with ammonium chloride and zinc chloride paste, which act as an electrolyte. Not only that, the graphite rod is surrounded by mixture of manganese dioxide and carbon black powder. Children, this kind of a cell has a potential of 1.35 volts. Moreover, the voltage of a dry cell keeps on decreasing gradually with the usage, and finally it has to be discarded once all the chemical gets exhausted. Let me write the electrode reactions which takes place in the dry cell during its discharge. Look at here, at anode we have taken zinc container as anode. look at here, zinc loses 2 electrons and it forms Zn2 plus 2 electrons. Now let me write cathodic reaction. At cathode we have a mixture of, look at here, MnO2, is it not? Look at here, manganese dioxide plus water plus electron get reduced to MnOOH, manganese oxyhydroxide plus OH minus. Children, there are 2 electrons are released by oxidation of each atom of zinc. So what I do, in order to balance, I multiply this by means of 2. Look at here, let me write overall chemical reaction, the redox reaction. I'll cancel this, 2 electrons gone here. Now Zn plus 2 into MnO2, 2 MnO2 plus 2 H2O giving rise to Zn2 plus 2 manganese oxyhydroxide plus 2 OH minus ions. So this is what overall redox reaction which takes place in the dry cell. Children, let me take up the second example for primary batteries, that is a mercury cells, otherwise called button cells. A mercury cell or a battery is a non-rechargeable primary cell which is used widely in the calculator, wristwatches, hearing aids, computer CPU, whatnot. Children, a mercury cell or a battery uses a reaction between mercury oxide and zinc electrodes in an alkaline electrolyte. The most important question which may be asked under mercury cell is that the voltage of mercury cell during the discharge remains constant at around 1.35 volts. This is because in overall reactions of this mercury cell does not involve any kind of ions in the solution. I'll come back to that when I write anode and cathode reaction. Let me write anode for mercury cell. Children, in the case of anode we have zinc amalgam. You know that mixture of a metal with a mercury is called amalgam. So in this case, mercury with zinc, that is why it's called zinc amalgam. Children, the cathode we have mercuric oxide. What is that? Mercuric oxide. And we have what we call this electrolyte. For the electrolytic reaction we have alkaline zinc oxide. In that I'll take, what is this? KOH, potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide. That means alkaline zinc oxide which act as an electrolyte. Children, let me write the anode reaction and then I'll go for what we call this cathode reaction which is taking place in case of mercury cell. Children, in the case of anode we have zinc react with hydroxyl ions of the electrolyte to form zinc oxide plus 2H2O plus electrons and 2 electrons. Now let me write cathodic reaction. Cathodic reaction. Children, in the cathode what is taken here? Mercuric oxide. Remember, mercuric oxide react with water and in the presence of electrons undergo a reduction to form Hg, that is mercury plus OH minus ions, hydroxyl ions. Now let me write overall redox reaction which takes place in the mercury cell. I'll cancel this, water also can cancel and OH also I can cancel here. Now what I'm going to get, look at here, Zn plus HgO giving rise to ZnO plus Hg. Children, look at here. Zinc is oxidized to form zinc oxide, whereas mercuric oxide is reduced to form mercury. Children, do you find any of the ions involved in the overall chemical reaction? No. So that is why the voltage of mercury cell during discharge remains practically constant at around 1.35 volts. So this question is very important. Why is the voltage in the case of mercury cell remains constant throughout its life? You can say that the voltage during discharge remains practically constant at 1.35 volts because there are no ions involved in the overall redox reaction which takes place in the mercury cell. Children, this is very important for the examination. Let me add one more important about mercury cell. You know that mercury is a heavy metal, because of which it can cause environmental pollution. Children, let me take up the second type of batteries, that is secondary batteries, which are also called storage cells, otherwise called storage batteries. As I said earlier, secondary batteries are those batteries which can be used again and again by reversing or reverting the electrode reactions by passing electric current from an external source. In other words, secondary batteries can be recharged by passing electric current from an external source and can be used for a longer period of time. Children, one of the best example for secondary batteries is lead storage battery. And lead storage battery you might have seen in the case of home inverter, or the battery which are used in the case of automobiles like lorries, trucks, car, bike, scooter, etc. Children, lead storage battery consists of a number of electrodes which are made up of lead grids. Now, the anode lead grids are filled with spongy lead, whereas the cathode lead grids are filled with lead oxide. Both anode lead grids and cathode lead grids are placed in a plastic case or a container which is filled with 38% of sulfuric acid, which act as an electrolyte. Let me write cathode and anode reactions for both discharging as well as recharging the battery. Let me write during discharging. Children, let me write anode reaction during discharging. You know that lead react with sulfate ions, giving rise to lead sulfate plus 2 electrons. Children, now let me write cathode. You know that at cathode we have PbO2, lead oxide, which combines with SO4 2 minus plus 4H plus ions plus 2 electrons. Look at here, this is nothing but sulfuric acid, which is taken as what? Electrolyte. Now you are going to see the formation of lead sulfate plus we have water. Let me write overall reaction. Look at here, 2 electron get cancelled here, and how do I write that? Look at here, Pb plus PbO2, is it not? Now we have plus 2H2SO4, okay, 2PbSO4 plus 2H2O. So this is what overall reaction which takes place during discharging. Children, during recharging by passing electric current from external source, the opposite of this reaction takes place. Let me write during recharging. Look at here at anode. Just reverse of this. Look at here. PbSO4 plus 2 electrons. Reverse of that. Alright. Pb plus SO4 2 minus. Cathode. Again let the reverse of that. PbSO4 plus 2 H2O giving rise to PbO2 plus SO4 2 minus plus 4H plus 2 electrons. Look at here. Let me write overall reaction. Overall reaction which takes place during recharging. 2 PbSO4 plus 2 H2O giving rise to, look at here, Pb plus PbO2 plus 2 H2SO4. Children, both reaction occurs which during the discharging and recharging are very important for the examination. Children, let me give one more example for secondary batteries, that is nickel cadmium battery, which is also called NiCd cell. Remember, this is commonly called NiCad cell, meaning in this kind of cell both nickel as well as cadmium are used. Children, nickel cadmium battery is a type of rechargeable secondary battery using nickel oxide hydroxide and metallic cadmium as electrodes. Remember, this kind of nickel cadmium battery are used widely in the power tools, photography equipment, flashlights, emergency lighting, toys, medical equipments and whatnot, many portable electronic devices. Remember, nickel cadmium battery at the cells produces a cell potential of 1.2 volts, which has longer life than any other lead storage battery, but only thing is that these are much costlier. That you need to remember. Children, let me write the electrodic reactions which occurs in the case of nickel cadmium battery or the cell. Let me write anodic reaction first. Children, you know that anode is negatively charged electrode. In this, cadmium combines with hydroxide ion to form cadmium hydroxide along with the release of 2 electrons. Look at here, there is a loss of electrons. That means oxidation takes place at cathode. Hope you are getting. Let me write cathode reaction. It is nothing but positive. Children, we have taken nickel oxide hydroxide, is it not, as an electrode. It combines with 2 water molecule plus 2 electrons and undergo reduction to form nickel hydroxide. Nickel hydroxide along with the formation of hydroxide ions or hydroxyl ions. Now let me write overall reaction. Look at here, Cd plus 2 nickel oxide hydroxide plus 2 H2O giving rise to CdOH twice cadmium hydroxide plus 2 nickel hydroxide. Children, so this is what the reaction takes place during the discharging of the nickel cadmium battery. Children, while recharging by passing electric current from an external source, the reverse of this reaction takes place. Hope you understand that. Okay, so this is about nickel cadmium battery. Children, let me take up the next topic which is very important for the examination, that is fuel cells. A fuel cell is a galvanic cell in which chemical energy of the fuels like hydrogen, carbon monoxide, methane, propane, etc. is directly converted into electrical energy by means of electrochemical process. Moreover, in these cells, the fuel is oxidized at anode. Children, as I said, in the case of fuel cell, the chemical energy of the fuel is directly converted into electrical energy. You should remember that this occurs without the intervention of any kind of thermal devices like boilers or turbines. The most successful fuel cell is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, which is also called Becan cell, which was used in the Apollo space shuttle for the first time, and it has two advantages. Number one, production of electrical energy, which is used for running the space shuttle. Number two, production of water as a byproduct. Remember, whatever the water being produced by hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is used by the astronauts for drinking purpose. Children, let me take up hydrogen oxygen cell, otherwise Becan cell, in detail. As I said, hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is one of the simplest type of fuel cell in which hydrogen gas is used as a fuel, whereas oxygen is used as a oxidant. Children, the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell consists of a porous carbon electrodes. One of the porous carbon electrodes is impregnated with the platinum or palladium as catalyst and act as anode, whereas another porous carbon electrode is impregnated with platinum or silver, which act as cathode. Children, you can see at one end there is this opening for supply of oxygen gas, whereas on the end you can see there is an opening for supply of hydrogen gas, and in this cell now aqueous potassium hydroxide is taken as an electrolyte. Children, let me write the overall electrode reactions which takes place at the anode as well as cathode. Let me write anode first. Children, at anode, this is what the reaction takes place. Okay, let me write a cathode. So this is what the reaction takes place. Now what do? I'll write the overall reaction. Look at here, 2H2 plus O2, the 4H2O minus 2H2O, you're going to get 2H2O. So this is what the overall reaction which takes place in the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, wherein hydrogen and oxygen undergo combustion to produce water along with the production of electric energy. That is what I said. Electric energy is used to run the space shuttle, whereas water is used by the astronaut for drinking purpose. Children, there are some advantages of fuel cells. Let us find out. Children, let me take up the advantages of fuel cells. There are three advantages of fuel cells. Number one, fuel cells are pollution-free devices as no harmful substances are produced by the fuel cells. Second one, high efficiency. Fuel cells have high efficiency, which is around 70 to 75% in comparison to conventional cells, where it is only 40% efficiency for conventional cells. Children, the third one is fuel cells are continuous source of energy if the supply of fuels are maintained continuously. Moreover, fuel cells are light in weight in comparison to the electrical generators, which are very, very heavy in nature. So those are the four important advantages of fuels you are supposed to remember, because that may be asked for the examinations. Children, the fuel cell is very important for the examination. Now I left with only one topic, that is corrosion or rusting in iron. Children, let me take up the last topic of the unit electrochemistry, that is corrosion. Children, the term corrosion you already learnt in the class 10th, is it not? Even then, let me define the term corrosion for you. The process of wasting away of metals layer by layer due to the formation of undesirable compounds when a metal is exposed to open atmosphere is called corrosion. Remember, corrosion in case of iron is called rusting. I repeat again, corrosion in case of iron metal is called rusting. Children, the process of formation of brown colored flaky substance on the surface of iron when exposed to open atmosphere is called rusting, and the brown colored flaky substance is called rust. Let me write the entire chemical reaction of rusting for you. Then look at here, iron when it is exposed to open atmosphere, it combines with oxygen and water to form hydrated iron oxide. What is this? Hydrated iron oxide. Remember, hydrated iron oxide is nothing but rust. If anybody asks you what is rust chemically, you would say that hydrated iron oxide is rust. Children, rusting is considered as an electrochemical phenomenon. According to electrochemical theory, impure iron rod having a droplet of water containing dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide act as an electrochemical cell, otherwise called microcell. Children, let us discuss the electrochemical theory of rusting, considering as rusting a microcell. Children, look at here. The pure part of iron rod act as anode, and hence it is called anodic site, whereas the impure part of iron rod containing a water droplet and dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide act as cathode, otherwise called cathodic site. Children, look at here. At anode, oxidation takes place wherein iron atoms loses 2 electrons and forms ferrous ions, Fe2 plus ions. Children, the electrons which are produced by 2 iron atoms move towards cathodic site, wherein these 4 electrons are used for the reduction of 4H plus ions in the presence of oxygen to form water. Remember, the H plus ions are produced by the decomposition of carbonic acid, which is produced by the reaction of water and carbon dioxide. As I said, the water droplet contains dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide, is it not? The dissolved carbon dioxide combines with water molecule to form carbonic acid. Now the carbonic acid dissociates to produce H plus ions. That is what I am saying here. H plus ions are reduced by using oxygen, and 4 electrons are lost by the iron atoms to form water molecules. Look at other side. The Fe2 plus ions which are produced by the oxidation moves out of this anodic site, and further they get oxidized in the presence of oxygen and water, which is produced here to form Fe2O3. That means ferrous ions are getting oxidized to ferric ions, and this is what you call the rusting process of electrochemical phenomenon. Let me write the anodic reaction for you. Children, at anode, please look at here. At anode, iron loses electrons to form Fe2 plus ions, as there are two atoms are taken here, 2 Fe2 plus 4 electrons. This is what takes place at anode. Let me go for the second one, cathode. Cathodic reaction. Look at here. At cathode, 4H plus ions are given by H2CO3 combines with the dissolved oxygen in the presence of 4 electrons to form 2H2O. Is it not? Now let me write the overall reaction. 4 electrons goes away. Now look at here, 2Fe plus 4H plus ions plus oxygen giving rise to 2Fe2 plus 2H2O. Children, this is what the overall reaction occurring inside the microcell. Children, look at here, Fe2 plus ions, that is ferrous ions, further oxidized by combining with of a molecule of oxygen and 2 H2O water molecules to form Fa2O3. What is that? Fa2O3, ferric oxide. Now this ferric oxide combines with water molecules, say X water molecules, to form hydrated ferric oxide. This hydrated ferric oxide is nothing but rust, and the entire phenomenon of formation of hydrated ferric oxide is called rusting. Children, after understanding this, let me take up the prevention of rusting. Before that, let us discuss the two conditions which are very much essential for the rusting process. Number one, presence of oxygen and the presence of water. Children, for the rusting process to take place, both the conditions are very much essential. Even one is present, other one is absent, the rusting will not take place. Let us discuss the methods of prevention of rustings in detail. Children, as I said, for the rusting process to take place, two conditions are very much essential. Number one, presence of oxygen, and number two, presence of water. If I able to prevent any one among these conditions or both the conditions, I can prevent the rusting process. There are three important methods of prevention of rustings. Let me take up number one. It is barrier protection. Barrier protection. Number two, we have sacrificial protection. Number three, we have cathodic protection. And this cathodic protection is also called electrical protection. Electrical protection. Children, these are the very commonly used three methods for the prevention of rusting. Number one, barrier protection. Number two, sacrificial protection. Number three, cathodic protection is also called electrical protection. Let me take up barrier protection. Children, barrier is nothing but something which prevents either oxygen and water to come in contact with the iron rod. Children, under this we have three methods. One is painting. Second one is greasing. What is that? Greasing. Otherwise, it's called nothing but oiling. Third one you already learned, that is called electroplating. Electroplating. Children, now if you see, By applying a paint on the surface of iron rod, you can prevent rusting because neither oxygen nor water come in contact with the iron rod. Greasing. So many of the vehicles you might have seen that, they apply grease on the surface of the automobile parts. Why? Because when the grease is applied, which will be providing oily surface, the water molecules will not attach to the iron rod for continuously, and hence you can prevent the rusting process. Electroplating. Children, electroplating is nothing but coating of iron with some of the non-corrosive metals. Non-corrosive metals like we have chromium, nickel, etc. And that process of a thin coating of non-corrosive metal like chromium or nickel around the iron is called electroplating. Remember, these do not undergo any type of corrosion. Hope you understand that. When these are coated around the iron rod will not come in contact directly with oxygen or water, and thereby you can prevent what you call this rusting process. Hope you got it. Now, sacrificial protection. Children, in this case, iron rod is coated by means of a more electropositive metal like zinc. That means zinc is more electropositive and readily loses electrons, undergo oxidation more easily than the iron. In that way, by losing electrons, zinc undergo oxidation, in turn prevent the iron undergoing oxidation and thereby rusting process. As it is sacrificing itself for the sake of iron, this method is called sacrificial protection. Children, the third is called cathodic protection, which is also called electrical protection. The cathodic protection is also type of sacrificial protection. In this case, look at here, you might have seen that municipal corporation, while putting sewage pipelines, big iron pipelines, they may undergo what you call this a rusting process, and they need to remove these iron pipelines very frequently if they undergo rusting. That is why what they do, they go for cathodic protection, otherwise called electrical protection. Children, these pipelines are connected to more electropositive metal like magnesium. Children, when this happens, magnesium loses the electrons, undergo oxidation than iron, as magnesium is more electropositive and readily loses electrons. In that way, magnesium protect iron for undergoing oxidation and thereby prevent corrosion, otherwise rusting process. And as I said, magnesium sacrifices itself for the benefit of or the sake of iron, and that is why it is also kind of sacrificial protection. So this is about the methods of prevention of rusting. Children, with this the unit is completed. Tomorrow onwards, I am going to take up some of the very important numericals under this unit, electrochemistry.